Bradley Barcola. There's a couple of stories today suggesting that Arsenal could try and hijack any move to Liverpool. What's the story there?
Yeah, it wouldn't really be a hijack in the sense that Arsenal appreciate Bradley Barcola, and Barcola would like to move to Liverpool. Maybe you get a situation where the highest bidder wins Barcola, because I don't think he wants to stay at PSG regardless. And Arsenal are basically drawing up a list of names because they didn't get Vinny Jr., who extended at Real Madrid. Kenan Yildiz is another that they like at Juventus, but he only recently signed a new deal. Iliman Ndiaye, as we've reported on TalkSport. In theory, Junior Krupi, but Bournemouth have always said not for sale, and now he's got a metatarsal injury, so that rules out any kind of imminent move. And then Julian Alvarez, even though we can't really call him an out-and-out left winger, another target that if Arsenal are given any encouragement on, because Atleti prefer maybe to sell outside of La Liga than to Barcelona, they'd be prepared to move there as well. But of course, Atleti's public stance is that Alvarez will stay. He's back in training, so key to the narrative there is going to be how those talks go, and if Alvarez agitates for a move or just accepts that he's going to stay at the football club. But yeah, Arsenal in theory could decide Barcola is somebody that they want to enter the fray for. That plays into PSG's hands in getting as close as they can to this 170 million euros number. But Liverpool feel in control of this narrative because they're in contact with PSG. And I think more important than worrying about what Arsenal do to Liverpool is waiting for Paris Saint-Germain to maybe sign Gertz from Ajax, and in addition, Ferran Torres is very close from Barcelona for 50 million euros. He's already agreed a 5-year contract, and Magnus Akliush has come in as well. So once PSG get who they need through the door, and I think it might be clearer this week, that
start with one quite close to my heart. Christian Romero to Arsenal, but won't seem to go away. My gut feeling is with 3 years left on his contract, there's not a way in the world Spurs would sell him to Arsenal, but we were just chatting about this off air. If the option is, I don't know, 25 million from Atletico or 75 million from Arsenal, it may pique their interest. But what would you say the chances are of this happening?
Very slim, unless there's a clause that we don't know about, because Tottenham don't want to do business with Arsenal, and as you say, it would take astronomical money to even start a conversation, and Arsenal have been quite disciplined in the market. Romero would be open to Arsenal as one option, but nothing really more to say at this point. And Atleti are the ones working on this deal. They know the number because Napoli have already agreed a 40 million euros fee. It's just a case of unable, as it stands, to get terms over the line with the player, because as he said last year, he would be very open to a move to La Liga, which by all accounts would be both a football and, as importantly, a family decision. So as it stands, Atleti feel in control. Barcelona could, in theory, with Ronald Araujo going off to Liverpool on an initial loan with a buy option, also look to strengthen in defence. But La Liga looking like the most likely destination, and if Arsenal want to change that, they would likely have to put crazy money on the table, and still hope that Tottenham answer that call. Arsenal are also keen on Ezri Konsa. There's a goal from valuation with Aston Villa, but they've not given up on that as a possible option as well.
No, I'm not concerned about Arsenal's transfer window. I'm not panicking yet, but I would understand why you might be. Now, everyone's different. Some people are really stressing about this window. Some people are looking at it going, oh my word, who's out there? What are the options remaining? The transfer links are really not encouraging. We're going to talk about some of those in this video. Others might be going, listen, Arsenal are going for the creme de la creme of players. They are trying to go for players that genuinely add serious quality, and those are bigger and harder deals to do. Now, I land in that camp, but I would understand why recent history, typical trends, just the way Arsenal have been over the years might be leaving you a little bit concerned that we might leave some stones unturned and some gaps in the squad. So let's discuss all the latest transfer rumours. Let's give my take on all of them. I want your take in the comment section below, and let's discuss where we think this is going to leave Arsenal, what we make of the rumours. So look, we are poor at selling, but there is interest in some players, which is good. One in particular, Gabriel Martinelli. Galatasaray made an inquiry to Arsenal over the signing. The two clubs discussed a price for the player and to see if a deal could be done this summer, but the deal is reliant on Arsenal signing a replacement. That comes from TalkSport. Now, I covered that a little bit in the podcast with Sharoy, but essentially the offer that did the rounds was around £35 million. I do think that's too low. I also don't think you're going to get much better than that. I think you might get 40 to 45. Now, the reality is, when you look at the value of other wingers who have moved, Martinelli is probably a 50 to 60 million pound player. But when Arsenal are looking to do a Vinny, they're looking to do, well, obviously not anymore, but were looking to do a Vinicius Junior type deal. They were looking to add some real quality. We know that we have pretty much moved on from the Gabriel Martinelli story in terms of, I mean, he got 15 minutes in a pre-season game at the Emirates. I mean, that tells you a lot, doesn't it? That doesn't put you in a very strong position for negotiating. So let's see if Galatasaray come back. There are rumours that Roma and clubs in Serie A are looking. I think he'd be great in Italy. I'd love to see him in Italy. I think he'd get a whole heap of goals, and I think he'd change his reputation a lot. And I would like that for him, because I think he's a really hard-working, honest footballer, and he's given so much to Arsenal. He's a Premier League champion. I really like that to happen for him. I just think his story at Arsenal is done. So we wait to see what happens. And of course, we've got this story here. Mikel Arteta says that Jurrien Timber is still weeks from returning from a groin injury, but that the defender is progressing well. Timber, 25, withdrew from the Netherlands World Cup squad this summer due to an ongoing groin issue that he initially suffered against Everton in March. I remember that. Now, these were the updates that did the rounds. So, Sammy Mokbel said that on the 29th of July, he'd travelled back from London to London from Arsenal's training camp in Spain for a pre-planned appointment related to last season's groin injury. Apparently, there's no setback. This was part of the rehab. So, it has been a long time that Jurrien Timber's been trying to get past these groin issues. And then Hand of Arsenal said this on the same day, that he underwent a minor operation this summer, as widely reported. The medical team were monitoring his condition and fitness very closely during pre-season. His long-standing issue kept him out for most of the run-in. So the same issues that he had from March to essentially the Champions League final are what he's still dealing with now. Now, I think that makes it his third surgery or procedure of some kind since being at Arsenal. And we're now, March to mid-August. We're looking at, what is that? April, May, June, July. We're looking at 5 months in which he's played 20, 30 minutes of football for Arsenal, maybe a little bit more in that Champions League final. It's a real concern for him, because it feels like there's something a little bit more, I don't want to say long-term, but something like it doesn't sound like there's just an injury he's letting heal. It sounds more like a particular condition or something he can't quite shake off, and he's trying to figure out how to manage it. That's my opinion. I have no expert insight on that. It's just, I don't understand how a groin injury is meant to keep you out for weeks in March. We're still in mid-August, and we don't know whether he's going to come back. It does make the need for a centre-back or right-back really important for Arsenal. It does make it something of a necessity, because when we keep talking about Timber or White being able to cover at centre-back, in case Mosquera, obviously needs to be rotated in and out, or Gabriel gets injured or whatever, well, they might not be fit to play. So we probably do need a centre-back who can play at right-back quite comfortably as well. So listen, we'll see what Arsenal do. The whole point, the title of this video was, if you're concerned, I get it.